All right, guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do Extremity issue number 10. I believe we are almost at the end. And I noticed a pattern here that about this book that I begin to dislike. Now, I'm going to talk about it a little bit later. First, we go over the story and see what's happening. So, we have our, well, there's no really good or wrong. I mean, there is a group of people that's supposed to be good, but this is just a war between two factions, right? And they, in this ship, they created some kind of a beacon, I guess. And that beacon summoning something, and we don't know what. But so they realized they lost a lot of men in the previous battle, right? But then out of the clouds, the enemy, the Pasnina, comes in. I mean, that's one of the the enemy faction, and I think there is. Now let's go over the story a little bit first. So they ramming it, and then they are falling down, right? They're breaking apart, they say, and they want to push the button on this device, this one. Or I mean, this one, but can't. Now, if you look at this, I think was a shitty design to begin with, right? I mean, why doesn't this thing break through this whole ship? Or whatever, this bathtub full of people. And I was surprised that nobody's jumped flying out of it. Anyway, so they are crashing down in this fortress city, whatever it is, I believe enemy territory, right? And they're coming out, and then, the queen says, hey, tell your men to move in because I want to have Jerome alive. So this is the leader, the father of Thea and Rollo here. And they are going to they are on some kind of a secret mission. They're going to some kind of a place that is important or something, right? And then Thea is talking about to Rollo about, hey, what about our dad? And he says, what about him? Yeah, well, our family, our clan was in the war, and we just left. Don't you feel bad? And Rollo says, no, I don't. I mean, father wanted to have a conflict. He dragged us into it, and I don't want to be there anymore, or something like that. And he also said, hey, Thea, he also hurt you. But, and she says, but nothing. How can you even think of him now? When so much was finally gone right. We have a safe place to live, the protector. We even made friends. It's time we moved on. We don't have to subject ourselves to father's rage ever again. Well, yeah, sure. Why not? So, and then they are here. He says, that is not the father that grew up with us, right? He is still a good man, and I mean, that's the conversation here, that Rollo thinks, no, he changed too much, and Thea still thinks that beneath all that wrath and anger and sadness, there is a lot of good inside that man. But, if I see what he has done to a lot of other people, he is not a good man, right? He says, but she says, he's our father, Rollo. Can we just stay here and do nothing? Rollo says, well, if you feel strongly about it, you go and I'll stay with people that care about me. So they go into this place, and it looks good. It looks really good. It's a little bit weird. I mean, it's some kind of a big hall with some kind of a fortress inside. I mean, it looks like a mini castle, right? So this is the Hall of Dust, where they keep ancient things, before the war, before the civilization. So basically a giant library, I guess, right? And these are books, from before, and they collect them from different places to learn from that, right? Because they don't know what happened before everything's changed in the world, like those floating rocks with a civilization or how do you say, a kingdom on it. This whole world went to hell somehow, and they don't know why, but they also collect those things to learn, so that they do not make the same mistakes again. Hey, look at this. It's Frank Frazetta's Death Dealer. Anyway, so Rollo comes in and says, wow, this place is incredible. I wish I had known it existed. I could live here. And then this robot's called Shiloh, right? He's here with, other robots, parts, I guess. He said, do you recognize these things from your life before? So the robot says, I'm not sure why he is feeling the need to go against his programming. It's not very well explained either. And he says, I don't know why, but I suppose I thought I was the first thing made by men to end lives. It's clear to me now that killing was happening before I was created and will continue when I'm gone. Coming back to this whole scene a little bit later. And then you see this giant mech, which looks cool. I'm not sure they're going to use it, but I assume they will, maybe. Or just a relic of the past. Who knows? Anyway, so this woman here says, hey, I need to show you something. And it seems that these all are her drawings. You know, there was, before she lost her mom. And this woman says, I found them years ago on a scavenging run, scattered underneath your old home. Well, that is a coincidence, right? From the moment I saw you, Thea, I knew you were different. Right. The problem that I have with this is just all a little bit too. I'm not sure what the word is I'm looking for, but it's very on the nose, right? I mean, it's you collect these things, right? Somehow in the past, and then you stumbled upon Thea, who draw this by accident. And then he says, oh, here, there's a room with your drawings in it. Isn't that cool? Because I think you are special, right? And you want to make the things right again. And that's why we save these things. But they remind us of what we used to be, good and bad. And when we lose our way, when terrible things happen, we can look back and remember. Remember what? I mean, how does this help the war or the people, right? And she says, I believe you were meant to see these again, to prepare you for whatever maybe is coming. I mean, prepare you for what? I mean, what does these drawing page do to her, except feeling miserable? Because this is also the part in when her father was smiling, and then, she lost her mom. And that's a little bit my gripe of this book. The book is very shown in a very depressive way, very hopeless. And I'm fine with that. But this is not a good storytelling about the depressive in a good way. Basically, the opposite, I think. We get it. This is a shitty world. There's people fighting each other to the death, right? And you are caught in the middle. And that's bad. Yeah, but I'm sick of him basically to open up every book of this series and say, and here, I'll read, hey, guy, reader, if you look at this, do you feel anything? Do you feel bad? Because that is the emotion that I want to evoke by writing this story and drawing these pictures here on these panels. Do you feel something? Do you feel bad for this girl? No, I don't, because I don't think it's very well told. Because I'm being thrown over the head by, yeah, she's conflicted. Yeah, the world is miserable. Yeah, her dad is going over the edge because he lost her, his wife and her father, right? But it stays too long on these pages. And this dialogue, of this woman says, well, hey, isn't that a coincidence that I met you? And now you can look at those drawn pages again, and now you become something else and move the war in a different direction or something like that. It doesn't make any sense, right? I mean, come on. And, okay, moving on the story, and then Rollo with Shiloh here. So this was before that the world was floating in the air, right? So Shiloh says, or I don't know, looks up and then down. Rollo says, the war didn't end with you. It ended with that, this monster. So this monster is probably the cause of all this, maybe. I don't know. But then we go back to the war, or to the fighting, where Rollo's and Thea's dad is just, fighting for their lives, but they're losing very hard, right? He says, we fight for the last stand. The great weapon is coming to destroy all of our enemies. So he's pushing the button of this, I want to say generator, but that's not it. This beacon, right? And it emits a giant sound, and there's lightning, and then suddenly happens something to Shiloh, right? And he's going violent. He says, what's the matter, says Rollo. Well, he is the great beast. He says, Rollo, get away from me, right? and say, "Hey, Thea, Mashiba, let's go. We need to get out of here." He says, "Shiloh, what is that, Shiloh? What happens?" "I don't know," says Rollo. So they get out. So much for the secret hideout route, right? All right. So it's turning away from us. He's heading west. The beast, the dark destroyer of worlds, was my own friend. No, Rollo, he wasn't your friend. He never was. He's a mechanical being, right? He doesn't have any feelings, although it's been portrayed in this comic that he has feelings somehow, and he feels bad for, become a weapon in the past or something. I don't know how he became human. It's never been explained. Like I said, there's nothing explained. It's just being told, hey, this is a good guy, this is a good robot, he has feelings. And oh no, he's supposed to have been friends with Rollo. There is no indication of any friendship. Yeah, they're going with each other and doing stuff with each other, or accompanying each other. That's probably the word I was looking for. But there was no real friendship connection here. And he's so super depressed, like, oh no, I lost a friend. And then, oh, guys, she looks at a picture, and then she looks at this image here. Do you feel something? Question mark. No, I don't. So Shiloh is going to hurt many Pasnina. I thought that's what I wanted. I have to stop them. I have to stop my Abba. Abba is believed father or leader or something, right? And I help bring Shiloh to life. So I will join you. No shit. But then Rollo is walking away and falling onto his knees and see this picture of this great devastated, this great monster. And that's the end of the book for now, right? Or we're going to move on to the next one. So again, I'm sick of being shown all these pictures of, oh, look how depressed people are. Oh, look how miserable they are. Oh, you have to feel bad for these people. Right? You have to be on their side. No, it's too much, right? And too much of a the way I'm not invested. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not invested in these characters because I don't know really their motivations to a certain degree. Because where does the war coming from? Who are the enemy, the Pasnina, right? What is their motivation? We see only glimpses of what they are and where they come from. But that's it. We don't have any storyline about the war, that how that came to be and how they hated each other, except that one side just killed his mother, her mother, right? And then that transforms the whole clan into become, I don't know, warriors of the good side. I'm not explaining it very well, but you probably know what I'm trying to say here, right? So the leader says, okay, I'm becoming a vengeful man now, and we're going to war with the Pasnina, which is, I think, okay, right? But the explanation of and the reason why they are at war with each other is very minimalistic. I mean, I really don't care, and that's the problem with the book. I mean, I don't think it's a bad book, and to a certain degree, I like the book, but I'm not invested enough to say that this is actually a good book. Because all this, oh man, I feel bad. Oh man, I feel bad. Oh man, I feel bad, right? I mean, look at this pictures that you drew. Don't you feel bad? No, I don't. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.